Good afternoon. Welcome to the garden. It is September 20th, late September basically, in the garden. First frost date around here is October 18th, so about a month away. We are typically getting our first frost of the winter, and at that point, gardening season is over. However, the way the weather has been lately, if we get a frost before that date, I will not be surprised. I want to show you what it's like to wind down a garden over the next two videos. The last video I expect to share with you is going to be gleaning anything that's left in all of this. So let's come over here to where the garlic was growing. Over here to the left of the stump, where those two sticks are lying down, is where the elephant garlic grew wild last year, or this year, and I'll show you what we ended up with. Quite a few garlics. For something I didn't plant, I was happy to have it. Over here, I've torn up some of the ground. Since the wild, unplanned garlic did so well, I've gone off and bought a organic garlic from the grocery store, and I'm just going to prepare this ground here, let this dry a little bit. I'm going to put a cover over it to keep the rain off of it. So I'm going to prepare a bed here, and I'm going to put some, I guess what you'd call regular, normal garlic in here. And that'll happen here in the next few days as soon as I can get the ground dried out a bit and add some amendments to it and prepare a proper bed for it. Remember, this whole corner over here is what I called the dark corner of the garden. Let me just back out and you can see. This is what I used to call the dark corner because nothing but weeds would grow back here. And they still do. But it's starting to become rather productive. I was surprised at how much garlic, just volunteer garlic grew. And so I'm going to try to see if I can get some non-volunteer, get some deliberate garlic. Anyway, as I alluded to, it's been raining pretty constantly for the last 2 weeks with a few small breaks, but I haven't had to water the garden in over 2 weeks. And today we're having a bit of a sun break. You can see we're getting some sun. But we still got quite a few clouds. Let me see if I can do this without... Yep, see, quite a few clouds. It's not the clear summer sky. It's partly cloudy. Anyway, let's look at some tomatoes. And you can see we've still got huge amounts of tomato production. These are my early girls. And just look at them producing. Just all these green tomatoes in here. They're practically destroying the vines. I'm having to tie them up when I can. So these are my early girls, and as you can see, they're producing a lot of tomatoes, but you can see blossom end rot is becoming a problem. To combat that, about a week ago, I threw a bunch of see if there's anything left down here. I threw a bunch of bone meal down on the ground, let the rain kind of work it in, and that seems to have helped the blossom end rot. But you can see the rain on these pineapple heirlooms is causing them to split. So I've thrown away a ton of these heirloom tomatoes because of the splitting that's going on here, and I've got some more to throw away. But you can see they're also producing quite well as well. These are later ones, and they're not showing as much signs of splitting. Hopefully they won't split, but you can see it's pretty bad. Look at that tomato there. I'm just going to have to cut all these off and be done with them because I don't want the plant putting effort into tomatoes that I'm just going to have to throw away. You remember this plant here, this particular tomato, I was worried back near the end of July that it had very little to show for as far as tomato production, while the early girls and the other tomatoes were producing. But look at it now. Just look at those tomatoes in there. So I'm very happy. It is an heirloom tomato, so like all heirloom tomatoes, it does produce later it has a longer season. And I'm going to come over here and I'm going to show you the early girls. I've got a nice ripe one right down in there, almost ripe. Right now, most of them are green. The cool nights and days are not conducive to ripening the tomatoes. But you also see that the rain and the heaviness of the fruit is basically causing this thing to fall over. And the cherry tomatoes, the grape tomatoes are doing very well. The fruit on them is not as heavy, so it doesn't fall. But I've got some auxiliary support. You see the stick in there is helping support them. And the pear tomatoes continue. Every couple of days I come out here, get a good handful of them. They too are, I think I've got most of the split ones out of here. Right after the rain started, we had a lot of split tomatoes, so we threw away a lot of tomatoes from here as well. And these are the Amana oranges. Again, a lot of tomatoes, green tomatoes. We're going to wait for them to orange up to where they're ripe, but you can see they also have some splitting issues as well. That's what happens around here when the rain begins, is you lose a lot of tomatoes to splitting. Let's go down this row here, right here. Eggplant, still producing. Second eggplant, nothing on it, but we do have blossoms. If we have pollinators, we'll get fruit. This thing, my lemon cucumber, is basically done, as is the second lemon cucumber. Its season is over. It's dead. It's dying. Jim. The serrano pepper. I picked a whole bunch of them, and I've got a jar of pickled peppers in there, but I've still got a few peppers left on the plant. Let's see them right in here. There it is right there. Plus I got one that's turning color down there. I wouldn't have expected him to be turning color. He's kind of small. But the other thing is I've got some very small ones over there. He's also starting up. So I may yet get some more peppers out of this thing if these right here will grow and mature before the first frost comes. I may get some more peppers than I have already. Looking forward to it. I'll keep you posted when we glean the garden. This patty pan squash, as you can see, the base of it over here is pretty much dying, so it's vining out, and I've got something growing here. This is supposed to be a patty pan, and the seeds previous years have produced patty pans, but this year they're producing something that looks more like a pumpkin, a fully rounded pumpkin, instead of a squished thing that a patty pan's supposed to look like. I've got a ton of yellow squash in here, but you can see I'm getting a blossom end rot problem. I threw bone meal on that as well, or near its roots, but it doesn't seem to be helping. This patty pan is also pretty much shot. Not much going on with it. It's trying to grow something there. I've got a yellow, some more yellow squash here. More blossom end rotting on that one as well. All the rain dilutes the natural calcium in the soil, and so we get a lot of water delivered to the plant, but not calcium, and so we need to add extra calcium to combat the excess water. Zucchinis seem to be doing all right. There's a little zucchini. If I can get some calcium into it, and hopefully it won't blossom and rot. This is supposed to be another zucchini over here, but oh look! Oh wait, it's dead. Got a big old rot problem with that one. But we have another one there. And I should have two more in here that are doing quite well. There's two of them, one on top of the other here. So these are doing okay. Maybe we'll get a few more squash before the end of the year, or before the frost. Want to come over here. This is where I had my lettuce and my green beans, and I'm just experimenting with fall lettuce crop. And I've got 3 beds, which I've got some fall lettuce in, just to see how they perform in different areas. And so I've got a red leaf, 2 little gems, some kind of leaf lettuce, like a romaine, a New Zealand spinach, and over here we have pretty much the same thing, except we have a Swiss chard, New Zealand spinach, again a romaine leaf lettuce, and a little gem, and a red leaf, and 2 red leaves actually. Red leaf. That one isn't doing as well as that one. I don't know why. Behind it, on the trellis I made for my sweet peas, I've got some pole beans. Now, for fall crop, pole beans is not the best choice because they have a longer maturity date, and in the fall you're basically racing the weather, trying to get a crop in before the frost. And so these probably weren't the best choice of plant to put out. Let me get this thing put back in here so it can find a thing to climb on. I'm going to string these, some of these vines are trying to vine out into the air, and they really need to wrap around something. So I'm going to, come here, come on in there. He's just sticking there, and you'll find the way to wrap. And you can see they're extending over the fence here. Where is that? Right there, coming over the fence without invading my neighbor's privacy. So yeah, all where is it? Where am I? Right here, all growing out, and they've all got blossoms on them, and looking good. Because if I come over here, I saw yesterday, yes, I've actually got a green bean or 2 growing right here, and there were a couple more over here as well. Yes, here's one. There it is. See that? So we have got green beans. So we're going to at least pick a few. At this point, about enough for a snack. Hopefully, with all these beans here, we'll get more than that. Some empty space, ran out of seeds. So I threw a couple of extra basil plants in here that I've been trimming and picking and drying, and so I've got some dried basil out of all this. The problem with a big trellis like this is you can't get behind it and weed behind it, so I've got a pretty good patch of weeds back here. Here is the third. Oh, a frog. A froggy. There he goes. Look at him go. You stick around here. I like you in my garden. Yeah, look at him go. Anyway, the other, what is this? I got a green, it looks like a green bee right there. Just flew away. Okay. I don't know what that was. Got the net here because my neighbor's cat was leaving me presents, and so I had to put the net up. Once I started throwing things at the cat, it kind of got the message it wasn't wanted. I have no idea what this bug is right here. Where is it? Right there. You see it? See it right there? It looks like a bee, but it's green. I've got a spinach, regular spinach, another New Zealand spinach, some more romaine or little gem leaf lettuce, and a red leaf lettuce, and there's another one over there, but it's been getting ravaged by snails and slugs. And I'll bet you if I pick this up, I'm going to find a slug under it. Nope. Oh, yes, right there. Look at that. Hey, I'm moving that. There you are, right there. I keep finding slugs under this thing. Alrighty, let's come over here, because, no, let's do the strawberries. We've got a lot more runners coming out of the strawberries. We've got more runners coming out of the strawberries now. I'm keeping them on top where I can monitor them, but you see it's just still trying to establish some of these plants to fill in the spaces. We had one successful run at establishing extra plants in here, and so I'm hoping for a second success. So here's another one I'm putting in a pot, and I want to fill in the empty space right here with some of those potted strawberry plants, and possibly give some away to some friends. Now, carrots. This is the other fall crop I'm experimenting with. We had a very good harvest of carrots back in late July. Early August we started these carrots. I have a short video on that, and I planted them too far apart. I didn't put enough seeds in, and not enough of them survived the heat when they initially sprouted, and so I've only got like 7 or 8 carrots actually growing in here. Hopefully we'll be able to get something out of this and prove that we can do fall carrots. So that is it, almost. These are those elephant garlics that I was telling you about. One of them may not be an elephant garlic because this one has a lot of cloves in it, and so I think that one is not a I don't know, I'll just have to look and see what that's all about. But we have some elephant garlic here. Tastes very good. I've already used several of them, and to have something that I didn't even plan on, that just kind of grew wild and I just plucked it up as a volunteer, that's really nice to have that. I got a small bag of onions here. I've got another bag about the same size of even larger onions. The other thing I've got is I've got several jars of dried herbs and spices of oregano, basil, rosemary in the cupboard, which I use to make pizzas and spaghetti sauces. It's really cool to be able to have those to do that with. And I've got some other things. And lastly, I have this experiment here. I've got 2 little gem lettuces. I've got them growing under a grow light indoors. See if I can get a, yeah, kind of bright, but I've got little gem lettuce growing in a cottage cheese carton. It's not doing too good. These are the ones outside are doing better than this one. I don't know what's going on with this one, but I've got 2 of them both showing the same problems. But I have this red leaf lettuce that has been going. Let me just pull it over here under the natural light, and you can see again in a cottage cheese carton. Once it doubles in size, I think it might be ready to just start pulling leaves off of it. I could start pulling leaves off of it for sandwiches right now. So look at the size of that thing. One of the things I've always wanted to do was to grow winter lettuce, and I tried growing it in the greenhouse a couple times, but this looks like I can grow it indoors. I may make a video about that, because being able to grow lettuce indoors in the winter would be a really cool thing to have. Anyways, oh, and by the way, here's that garlic that I told you about earlier. So that's it. That's the garden, late September. Like, if you like it, share it. Help me get subscriptions up on and views up on the channel. Subscribe if you want to see more videos. Please subscribe. I only got 3 subscribers. Help, help. So yeah, share it and let other people enjoy the videos. Thanks for watching.